whirlwind. I tried to make that beautiful cream cheese icing. However, it would not hold form on the pipings. So when I piped them out, it would just shrink down to a beautiful smooth top, which isn't ideal when I'm trying to teach you some piping techniques. So scrap that idea. I'm going to use the buttercream icing, which if I've ever needed to use an icing before, and we don't tend to ice things much, to be honest, because most of the time it goes out of the oven, onto the bench and into the mouths as quick as ever. So I never get to this icing stage anyway. But today I'm going to show you this buttercream icing. It's beautiful, it is luscious, and it holds form perfectly. So it is on cookie dough. As much as my camera's a little dark there, look for the photo of the piping bag with the little muffin behind it. So let's get started on this. I'm actually going to mill down my own icing sugar because then I know exactly what's in it. It just does mean that it won't be a pure white color. If that bothers you because you want pure white, then obviously buy yourself the icing sugar that's white icing sugar, that stuff's been washed off. A little short there, doesn't matter. Now, because it says icing sugar and I don't have it, I'm going to jump out of my recipe and I'm going to mill this down. You do need to give it longer than usual. So those of you who've made icing sugar for things like sorbet and Fruity Dream ice cream, things like that, you know it normally takes 10 seconds. 10 seconds will leave it a little too grainy, especially with this volume of icing sugar. So we need to do it for 1 minute. So it's going to be speed 10 for 1 minute. While that's happening, I'm going to prepare my butter. My butter's actually not soft, it's just come out of the fridge. I'm going to chop this into chunks, so about 1 centimeter and then through the center, ready for the next step. Also need a little bit of milk, which you could use water. I prefer to use milk, and this one's a vanilla flavor, and if you want color, that as well. So I'm going to spin this up to speed 10 and I'll return in 1 minute, ready for the next step. So we'll see you in a moment. Up to speed 10, off we go. Okay, you can see the plumes of sugar coming out the top of my lid. Look at that. Now, a little tip for this is make sure your bowl is dry. If it is damp, it's going to stick to the sides, not bounce back in, and not mill down nicely. But look at that sugar come out, the plumes of sugar. How cool is that? So really easy when you've got a Thermomix to mill your own icing sugar down. Does that not look amazing? Oh, so cool. All right, moving along. We're now going to put into it some butter, 200 grams of butter. So I've sliced this up on that 1 minute chop. It's just come straight out of the fridge, my butter. Obviously our fridges are all a little different on temperature. Let's see how much that weighs, that chunk that went in. And there we go, 200 grams. Now a little tip as well, you don't want your butter and you don't want anything going into this warm, okay? Bench temperature is okay most of the time. You might find yourself having to put it in the fridge afterwards to firm it up before you can pipe it. But really, because we're working with butter, it can melt. And if it melts, you do need to put it back in the fridge. If it starts separating out your buttercream, which doesn't happen unless really you over whip it or something was warm, but you put it back in the fridge and then re-whip it and it will recombine. So it's actually like butter melting, really, in essence. So as much as it says softened, softened doesn't mean leave it out on the bench so gooey you can put your finger into it. It doesn't mean that at all. So with a little bit of milk, as I said, you could use water, but make it at least room temperature, if not cold. Kind of like the same thing we do with our puff pastry, similar to that, okay? All right, next up we have our vanilla. In this goes. Now you will need your butterfly, so this is going to whip up in a second. And by the way, vanilla is optional. You don't have to put that in if you don't want to. You could flavour it with this different sort of flavouring if you prefer as well. Insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. Now I will scrape down the sides and capture those bits later, but I find I need to do that anyway. So I might as well just leave it as it is and come back to that. So it's got 1 minute on speed 10. No, it does not speed 10. Why is it saying that? It actually wants me to go to speed 4. See, this says speed, turn speed selected speed 10. Go to speed 4. Speed 10 will actually find that it just flicks all out to the side. So something's wrong with their typo there. Can you see the little green line sticks out at speed 4? That's where we're going to. So up to speed 4, and then it's going to cream. So it's actually going to do the old-fashioned creaming like you did with that hand mixer. So I'll come back in 1 minute and we'll do the next step together. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, time to scrape the sides down, and speed 4 is perfect. I think on speed 10, it's a little too intense for what we're trying to do, okay? You just find it flicking to the sides all the time. All right, so now's the time. Just gonna see what the recipe says. I wanna scrape it down. Yeah, here we go. Scrape down the sides, because you can see up the back here on there, you can see that it's beautifully combined in the bottom. Okay, it's creaming nicely, but it's got that stuff, my icing sugar stuck up the side. So we just give that a scrape down, ready to be pushed into this next mix. Now, I think I may have mentioned a second ago, you will need the butterfly to aerate this in a moment. If you can't find your butterfly, you can go without. It just takes a bit longer, okay? So it just takes about 4 times as long. But it's possible, okay? It is possible, so don't stress. Sometimes it's worth putting it on without the butterfly and then going and looking for the butterfly. Wow, maybe that's just my household. So I'm just scraping the extras in. Don't want to lose that sugar. Okay, next, I'm showered in it. Insert the measuring cup and it's going to whip again for 20 seconds. So up on speed 4 for 20 seconds. And then we're going to add our butterfly. Now, a couple of tips with your butterfly. Your butterfly is an aeration tool. Okay, so its job is to fluff something up or protect the blades from chopping your food. So there are times when you see it in recipes like risottos and you can get away with not using it. It makes no difference. You'll see it in recipes like meringues for aerating your egg whites. It's amazing. If you've not tried them, give it a go. Make sure your bowl's clean though. The trick to where you put it can make the difference between it falling off or not falling off. So the little picture actually gives you some clues. So on that picture, you can see they've actually shown you the high blades. Now years ago, before we had beautiful pictures on the screen on our TM31 and TM5 days, I used to talk about the knuckle. So your blades have a knuckle. They have 2 high blades and one of them goes up like a knuckle, and you can see that on the screen, on the side closest to the text. See the one that goes up like a little mountain? Knuckle. That's what you're looking for to put in your butterfly. The other key indicator in there is opposing that completely on the other side is one that goes down like a V and up, and you'll sometimes find the little point. When we find that blade set, okay, the opposing blade set that goes 90 degrees to that are low ones. You won't find them. They're down in the bottom of the bowl. But the high set, you actually want to find that high set and you want to go on the blunt side, or you might think back side, you might think anti-clockwise, behind, any of those words, okay, whichever one sits best in your brain is where it goes. So it actually goes on the back side of the high set of blades. So you find the knuckle and you just turn it a little bit and drop it in there, okay, and that's where it goes. Always remember, you don't want to go higher than speed 4 with your butterfly in. And the old saying in TM31 days was that the butterfly flies slow, so we go slow. Up to speed 4, no higher. So I'm digging around and I can find my knuckle there. So I plop it in next to my knuckle. All right, always stay close to the first few seconds of your butterfly because you can then stop it. However, if you do chop it up, it's only like $20 to replace. It's not a big deal. So on with the lid again, and now we're going to do the aeration, which is just beautiful. I love how this comes out. So it's got 1 minute, speed 3, because we don't go higher than 4 on the butterfly. And I'll come back and I'll show you this next step together shortly. So we'll see you soon. Okay, so it's done. I can't wait to show you this. Remove the butterfly whisk. Don't remove it yet. Okay, little tip. Just leave it for a second. Number 1, check it out in there. Is that not absolutely amazing? Okay, so remove the butterfly whisk. Not yet. We're going to color half of this. So I'm going to show you some tips now. So this is what you've all been waiting for, I know. But today I want to talk to you about there's a Thermomix piping bag. There are Thermomix disposable bags. I don't have them, and I wish I did. I've got the other ones at the moment. These are not my favorites, okay, because I'll explain why in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to take half the mix and we're going to put it in a disposable bag. You could use a bag, I guess. But what we're going to do today is going to put half this mix in here. The end is still on. I haven't cut the end yet, but I'll put half the mix in and then we're going to color the other half because I want to show you some techniques to making pretty cupcakes today too. So this is absolutely beautiful. This is going to pipe beautiful. Can you see how this is holding its form? That's what we need. Now, if yours has gone too runny because the weather's too hot or whatever the case might be, just needs to pop in the fridge. If you happen to leave it in too long, get it out, give it about half an hour, rub it between your hands and get it to body temperature and it'll be ready to use. So there is my white. Now, if I was doing more than a couple of cupcakes, I'd actually would have done a big batch, but we're a little bit sugared out here after doing the cream cheese attempt and now this, okay? Especially when we don't normally do this sort of icings, except on birthdays really, not even that. Often my kids pick ones that aren't iced. So I've now filled this up. We're just gonna pull this up. You can see how stiff this bag is. It's a little too stiff. What I need to now do is get this into the bottom of the bag as much as I can. And I want to get the air pockets out of it because otherwise air pockets make for funny shapes. So as I push it down, into the bottom of the bag. Okay, I want to squeeze the air or shake the air out of it. And you see as you shake it, you'll see the little bubbles come up the side, and that's what we want. We also want to push this icing down. We don't want to let that go to waste. Doesn't matter if there's an air pocket at the top, but we certainly don't want it in our mix through here. Okay, so get that done. And then the Thermomix ones from the mix shop, you can actually twist the top and they hold form. You can nearly tie them. These ones are too stiff and you really can't. So what I'm looking for here is I have a couple of hairbands, and what you do is you tie it off. Oh, there they are. We're going to tie it off with the hairband so that it doesn't pop out the top in a moment with some of the techniques I'm going to show you. So there's our white, or mine's a little bit off-white because of the raw icing sugar I used. So hairband the top of that. And then we're going to put some colour. I'm going to put some green food colouring in the other one, back in here. So that's why we left the butterfly in, and we're just going to whip in some colouring so that I can do some marbling with you guys and show you how to do that. I'm excited to show you this because I don't do this stuff very often, and I'm excited that I was able to learn these skills, and that's the beauty of being a Thermomix consultant, and now share them with you. So in goes the green. I did about 4 dobs of green. Really depends on what colour you want. Let's put this lid back on, and it's not going to take long to just whip that through. What's it say? I think it's done. Use it as needed. So just up to speed. Remember, no higher than speed 4. We just go on 3. We'll grab our other bag. Same thing. That'll do. Hopefully that's combined enough, and we'll just fill this one up. Now, you'll notice I haven't used my big bag yet. Okay, reason being is I'm going to double layer it, and this means a couple of things. It means that it's going to, I want it a bit darker. That's not dark enough. It's just green, but not quite enough. Let's put some more colour into it. It means that you can actually swap your inside colours more easily. You can drop a different colour into it, and you can also do cool multicolours, which is what I want to show you, this marbling effect. I don't know if that's enough. All right, let's try again. Lead on, speed 3 again. It feels amazing. It's so silky, smooth, and buttery. All right, that's looking better. Just mix that through. Doesn't take long. So in a moment, we'll be cutting off the little tips of these. I'm going to take you through some tips and how they work. Now, I have put my muffins in the fridge. You want them cold, because if they're not cold, you're going to find that you're going to get the crumbs off the recipe. Just giving this a little hand stir together, by the way. It was a little bit up the sides that I want to incorporate. So let's put that in there. You can see that beautiful color in there. Little tip as well with the butterfly coming up. So just let me get some of this out, and I'm going to show you how to spin the excess off the butterfly. I wonder if any of you guys know how to do that. Means there's still some to lick on the butterfly, but not a ton of mix. If you do this making, say, a sponge cake mix, you get a whole lot, another couple of muffins out of it, because that's what's stuck in the wings of the butterfly. So, see that? There's still plenty in there. All I do is I put it back in, spin it up to speed 4 for a couple of seconds. No higher than 4 with a butterfly. I know I sound like a resounding board, but, oh, I went 4.5. Speed 4, guys, speed 4. No taking off too fast. All right, let's just finish this off. Tastes good. All right. You can see now, check out that butterfly. See how it's pretty much clean? A little bit there for somebody to lick, but not masses amounts, okay? All right, let's get this last little bit of icing in. You see how much, on the table. So you can see how much extra it actually pulled out of those butterfly wings. Okay, there we go. Green is ready. So now, I'm just gonna have to clean up this little daub on my bench here. Excuse the licking of the fingers. Okay, now, same thing as before. Let's get this down into the bottom of the bag. Ready to be used. We'll just make some space here. There we go. Shaking it down. We're going to put a hairband on top, like before, so that it is contained. That one's got a bit more in it, but that's okay. And if you don't have a hairband, I reckon a twisty might work. Or as I said, the ones from the Thermomix mix shop, kind of twist and hold their form. They're beautiful. Or you can tie a knot in them. These ones are too thick. So if you can go to the mix shop, buy them, check them out. Remember to select my name on checkout. I get a little bonus from it. It costs you the same, but I get a bonus. So thank you to those of you who remember to before checking out. So here we go. We are now at that point. I do have some air bubbles. They're going to cause problems later. But anyway, we'll come back to that. So Thermomix bag. I love this. I have had this bag probably since they came out. So probably 5 years. All right. It has a PVC kind of feeling lining. I don't know what it's officially called, but it's shiny. So it comes up clean. It doesn't get moldy. And it's got kind of a different sort of outside on it. I do put mine through the dishwasher. I think the label's not recommended to, but I think I actually do. Okay. It comes with a collar for the inside. I don't know if that's officially what you call it. You've got a little thing on the outside that you kind of put on, but then you've got these tips, and the tips are interchangeable, which I love, because it means you can be halfway through working and change the tip over. And it comes with, I think, 5 tips, although I've only got 4. I think somebody's acquired my other ones. So I've got a smallish one. We've got a massive star. We've got a small star. And then we've got a bigger circle. I'm going to use those today, and then I'm going to use one other. And I'm actually going to use this. It's a, can you guys see that? Like a little end. I want to show you ribboning as well. It's the only one that doesn't come with that it's worth having on hand. So we might start today with the large circle, large star. All right, I'm going to grab my little cupcakes down. As I've made mention, cold is best, so frozen or in the fridge so that things stick to it. Now, I've got that on the end, ready to go with that. Here they come. Now the others are missing because they were the failed ones with the cream cheese on top, okay? I might share a picture of them. See how brave I'm feeling. But they were tasty, and the cream cheese was amazing, let me tell you. It just doesn't work for piping, which is the whole reason I'm doing this video. So let's open this down. Now, if I want to just do some stars, we might start with the green. I seem to have the most of green, okay? We need to obviously cut the end off. You need to be able to get to the topping, what's it called? Icing. Just push it back a little bit, let you cut the end, and then we slide the end all the way inside this one. How cool is that? Push it all the way down so it doesn't make too much of a mess, and now we're ready to go. And I don't have to worry about that mix popping out the top because I put the hairband on it, okay? Let's just bring this camera around. It's not the best view, but I'll do my best. So, first thing with stars, it's all about consistency or pressure. So I can straight away put a little turn in the top. It helps me squeeze. I'll start with this front one, and I can start straight away with some little rosettes. Now see about pressure and consistency, okay? Pressure and consistency. So I can now fill this with rosettes really easily enough in whatever, I was gonna say a bit pretty, but that's not pretty, but I can fill that in later. Can you guys see those little rosettes there? So that is what that tip creates. Now I can, beauty of this method, swap tips. Okay, so if I go, oh, I'm not happy with that, it's missing something, it's lacking something. I might add a different tip, I might add a different color, which I'll do later. I'm just gonna straight away swap tips so I can take out that one, lie it down on the counter, and I might go, okay, small stars. Let's put some small stars on. Now I'm gonna go a different technique this time. I'm actually gonna ice around in a circle, okay, a bit like a snail, round and round and round. So on with the tip, and by the way, the tip does remain with the stuff in it, but it doesn't matter. Okay, when you're done at the end, somebody gets the fun of licking that out, but for now, it doesn't really matter. So I might on this technique use a bit of a circular motion. So I'm gonna start in the middle, and I'm gonna go round in a circle, round and round and round and round and round. Very traditional way of doing it, trying to stay against the previous line. Okay, so there you go on that one. Probably doesn't look so great from the front. Looks better if I lift it up from the top. There you go, see that? So that was just a round and round and round. Now the thing that makes it pretty is either changing the color or adding sparkles, and I'll show you sparkles in a moment. I might decide with this first one I've done, hey, I'm not happy with that. Okay, so I might put some little daubs. I don't know how talented I am at doing this in front of it, holding. I don't think I can, guys, sorry. I'm gonna have to do it down, but I might decide to add some texture. I might put some little stars amongst the big stars and fill in the gaps that I'm not happy with. Okay, so, can you guys see that? Wish I had a top camera on days like this. All right, next thing on the wish list, another camera. So here we go, see if I show you here. There you go. You can see, and it's all about that pressure. It's the push down and pull up at the end that gives you the little sparkly bits. they're not that great. I couldn't see what I was doing. Let me put another one on top. And the beauty of this is you can add to them. There we go. There you go. Added two. So there's two ends. Now let's go to a bit different because this is the part I'm excited to show you. So I'm going to change ends. I'm going to put a big circle on. Okay, let's put something different, but I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to add color to it. I'm going to add another color. Now, so I'm using white or Welsh cream. You could do any color that takes your fancy, but I'm going to use this big one because I always looked at this big one and went, why would anyone have a big circle, big ordinary circle? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, you can just do a big flat top or a couple of little tops like beads on top. Let's find a new one around here. So I can straight away get this and go dob, dob, and you can see, hopefully, yeah, what I'm doing here. I'm just adding little dobs to the top. Okay, so you got that kind of technique. They kind of look like little dinosaur horns. They're kind of cute. So you got that style of thing you can do, but I want to add a second color because that sounds like a world of fun and something that can either go really well for me or make a real big mess because you guys know I kind of just, oh, look at how far that's popped out. It's a little far. I've cut the hole too big or the hole has expanded, but that's okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to cut this one as well. I'm not going to cut it as far down as I've cut that other one. Try not to. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll try and put it in front of the camera. I see how far out that end's oozed. And now what I want to do is I actually want to put these side by side. Just get that one out the end a bit. Side by side into, actually, hang tight. I want to do something else first. Before I make a mess on that one, because that's oozed out the end so far, I'm just going to sit it upside down in a cup for a second. I want to actually show you the ribboning. Okay, I'm going to put the white in the ribboning just for a second before I start making a mess with dual colours. Ribboning is really cool. Okay, I learnt this the other night, and there's different ways of doing ribboning. You can do it on its side. So if I just grab a new cupcake here, you want to do ribboning on its side. So not flat necessarily, unless you want to do kind of like a lace effect where you kind of go on top of itself. See how I'm doing it on top of itself? You guys see that? Just. So you could do a whole lot of up and downs, up and downs, up and downs. By the way, there's different size ends that you can do different size ribboning with. Oh, stay on the cake. Okay, so you can do this ribbon effect, which is quite cool. Otherwise, you can go sideways with it too. So you can kind of go on a diagonal. Just trying to check you guys can see this. And actually kind of drop it on the cake. And again, it's about that pressure, that up and down pressure. Okay. So it's about, if you don't have the pressure down, you'll see there I just wrecked it a little bit because I didn't have the pressure to break it off. So you can see that ribboning technique. It looks a lot like lace or a ribbon actually on, on something. So I quite like that technique. I like the fact that you can kind of just continue to layer it and it looks okay as it layers on. So I'm just going to fill in some of those gaps. And I like that you can do that too because I'm a gap filler. I don't like there being gaps. So that's your ribboning technique, okay? Really cool little end. Worth, I think a little bit bigger would also be nice. You could do bigger swirls and bigger ribbons with it. So let's get into the fun stuff. Let's put a big end on. Oh, this is gonna get, oh no, we're gonna do the circle, weren't we? Hang on, what are we gonna do? We'll keep the big circle on and we'll do some, no, I really wanna do it with the other one. Okay, I'm gonna drop this in here first. So I'm just gonna drop the messy one in first because it is oozing out the sides, but I don't wanna put it all the way in because I need to fit this one down the side too. Okay, you want both of them to be down in there together because we're gonna squeeze them out together. Now I do have green in there first. You'll notice the first thing you see for quite some time is green. Now it's worth practicing these techniques on a piece of Glad wrap or a plate that you can actually just wipe it off, refill it and do it again. So if you do want to get really good at this, that's how you do it. So you'll see the first few bits will be green because that's the color that's in the tube already when I eventually get some down the bottom. Here we go. So I'm just, let's turn this around so you guys can see it. Come back a little bit further. There we go. So I'm just filling in the gaps, hopefully in a moment. And this isn't just kind of passing time to get the white to come through too. hopefully in a second, we're going to start seeing white. So there you go. There's our little spiky dinosaur head one. How cool is that? Little dobs on top of that in a moment and it'll be absolutely sparkly. We can come and grab our little one here, which is our little lacy looking one, and do some things with that too. So you can do some dobs, and these are connected dots. You can see I'm kind of pushing them over onto each other. All right, a little bit more of a, I guess you could say a sloppy look, but still a nice look. Where is this white? Which side's it on? I'm just going to give it a squeeze down to try and force it into the cone at the bottom, okay? Because at the moment, we're getting mostly, I don't know if I want to waste it by doing this. Here we go. Well, actually, I've got an idea. What I'm going to do, just for the sake of the video, is I'm going to actually take this cone end off. I'm going to put on my star end, because this is really what I wanted to show you, is how to do the mixing. And at the moment, we're stuck with green. So you can see the green is still there. So I'm going to actually take out, there we go, the white's in behind it. Fantastic. And just put this on one of my, I only had my cups here to fill. It's a filling tool. Just taking the green out of the star tip end, because again, I want to show you this. So now you could do this without the bags inside, where you just put your 2 layers of color inside, or I've even seen it done on Glad Wrap, where you layer your colors in there, roll it up, and then cut the end. Okay, I like this for simplicity's sake and even cleanliness sake. So I think if I put this here now, it won't be long till I get the white out as well, which is really what I'm aiming for. Let's see if we can put one big beautiful star on top of the one in front of us here. Let's see how we go with that, and then hopefully we'll see some white come out. So you can do, which we haven't done yet, a beautiful star. Look at that, beautiful little star on top to complete that one. Look at that, and you can see that beautiful colors coming through, which is what we're aiming for. So let's grab another little muffiny thing. This one's a little lopsided. He was the overflow. I didn't think I was going to be using him. So let's do, for example, a really big star on here. Now, if you want to get fancy, you can spin your stars. And you can see as I spin it, it looks a bit like an ice cream where it does that little circle thing. Okay, so you got that sort of effect. You've got your swirl like before. And again, it comes down to how much you twist your piping as to how that color comes out. You can layer it up again, which I really like. So you can do that whole very abundant, gorgeous look. We're losing the green in it now, aren't we? Or we could do something where we do a bit of a mixture. So I could do the beautiful stars around the outside, and then a beautiful big star in the middle. And you can see that pumping effect as well, which gives you that nearly, what's it called? Christmas tree effect. I like it. Okay, so to finish off, actually, I feel like this one over here, my ribbon on its own is a bit bare. This little one looking a little bit like it needs something more. So what I might do is I might give it a decent little star over here, and then I might go, you guys can't see that, sorry. And now a little tiny star. So I might just try. It's a bit hard to do a tiny star with a big nozzle, but let's give it a go. There we go. So that kind of completes him a bit. So he's got a bit of color to him. So now to completely finish, and what I haven't shown you is the little knob. It just makes tiny little ones, little tiny circles, a bit like the big one, but in circular form. So to finish it off, what might we do? I like to keep it simple. We've had these for about 15 years in our house, I'm sure. But all you need to do is you could put fancy stuff. You could get glitter, food glitter and all that sort of stuff. But I love these little balls, because all you need to do now is pick a focal point, and I put a couple on each. So the top of the little the tree, pick a few of these little tiny ones here. And it doesn't have to be every single one. No one wants to really bite on sugar balls too much anyway. But pick a place for the eye to go on each one. And I'll show you in a second. I'll lift them all up and show you. But I'm just picking 3 or 4 for each. I do love scattering on this one. This one up the back here is just the simple swirl. Okay, and I love that I can just scatter them on. Something like this high one up the back here, the Christmas tree, one on the top of it, couple down the side so it looks a bit festive. And then we've got this one here. Might just put one on the top of him, and then of course the beautiful lace one. I do like topping the swirls with them and putting a few around. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you'll take away some hints and tips. You know, if you're making birthday cakes, cooking with the grandkids, whatever it might be, I hope you've found something of value in this to take away. I'm sure as well there are recipes with the cream cheese that do set. It's just for me, whether it was my cream cheese or my butter, I'm not sure. I couldn't make it set. Even now, as it sits in the fridge and I get it out, I can't. So, well worth giving a go. I hope you've learnt some tips about swirling these beautiful things as well, and how you can use different ends for different effects, okay? It really doesn't, it's not hard. That would be my takeaway from learning this on the consultant thing the other night. This is not hard, it's actually doable. You can do this. Even if you've got no skills at all, you can make something that's pretty amazing that people will actually go, oh my gosh, how did you do that? I'd love to learn and know more. So I do hope today that you have taken away those skills so that you can do it in your own kitchen, whether it's just for fun or whether it's for something special. By the way, here's our little knob at the bottom, the last little one. Can I put some extra little colors in, I wonder? Oh, it's coming out green. Oh, that's because oh no, we haven't used this one before. So it just makes the teeny tiniest. Let's come around to this one. He's a little bit, hasn't got much on him, this one here. And if I had a different camera, I'd be able to show you a little differently. So please bear with me, but you could just fill in the blanks. It's pretty much what you're doing, going around. And you see that's just the big version, the little version of the big one, okay? So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. Do like and share with your friends. If there's anything I can do to support you with your Thermomixing, do reach out. I am here to help you get the very most out of your Thermomix investment. But otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me today, and hopefully taking away some skills for your cupcake making in the future. So take care, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.